have more fun stuff today.
Today is day
5. What are we doing this week, Linda?
Well, today is day 5. So 4 days.
Day 5 of what?
Of our 12 days of decorations.
What are we doing today?
Well, today is gingerbread ornaments. Woo!
We love gingerbread.
Love gingerbread, especially the ones you eat. Anyways, so we're going to talk about gingerbread ornaments today. And we have a variety of styles here. So the first ones that we have, these little ones, which are wonderful to do. Now the template is included in your instructions. And I've actually made this template a fair bit larger. So if you want to reduce it, go ahead. So this template is actually from the...
That was directly from the Scan and Cut.
Directly from the Scan and Cut. So you'll notice they have masks on. They're very cute, right? And the googly eyes, right? This is something would be so much fun just to do with the little ones. They can just glue. Hopefully not glue their fingers to it, but you know.
I didn't glue my fingers.
And then when I get to punch a hole through its head to hang on the tree.
Oh, no. I was just going to use thread and...
Okay, we'll do that. We'll do that. So then, Barb, our other elf.
Our other elf,
I was going to say our other partner in crime. She did this little one. Look at that one. Isn't that cute? He has a tie on him. So he's dressed appropriately.
He's a business gingerbread man.
He's a business one with a mask on. So she actually used stitches on her sewing machine just to stitch that on. And then she hand stitched around the edges. I particularly think this one is super duper cute. This is the size of the template that I've provided to you. Don't you love his hair? She just did a decorative stitch on the sewing machine. She has fiber fill in here. 2 buttons for the eyes. Little heart. So there's 3 different ways of doing your gingerbread. Now, you know that I've been dipping my toe into digitizing, which I absolutely love. So here's the first one. This is done on felt. So that's my digitized gingerbread man, or gingerbread person, sorry. Okay. Now this one, it's done on the felt, and then the last stitch you'll tape the felt onto the back, and then it'll do the satin stitch around. And then you can just punch the hole in, which we'll do in a bit. But of course, we have a gingerbread. We had to have one with a mask. Now Leah graciously stitched all these out, hence the orange thread. I've got a variety of felts again here to show. Now, just because it's a gingerbread, we don't need to have it in the gingerbread colors. But here's some luscious. Now this is the Kimberbell felt that has a bit of wool in it. So if you plan on doing hand stitching on here, you'll want to use the one that has some wool content in it. So what I actually did is I actually prepared one of the gingerbread peoples. I have Leah's color on the top, one on the bottom, or this could be the top, this is the bottom, it all depends. So I was just going to show you how to do some basic hand stitches with decorative thread. Now I understand Anne showed you some basic stitches, so I'm going to show you how to do the French knot for his or her eyes.
Their eyes?
Their eyes. Now because Leah loves these beautiful colors, I'm going to use a variegated. This is an organza, and it should be a 5-weight. Okay. This is from Wonderful.
It's a big, chunky, wonderful thread.
It is. I love using pearl cotton like this, as opposed to floss that has 6 strands with it. And there's a couple of rules that need to go with this. Actually, I always say that there are no rules, there's just suggestions. So you can have tapestry needles or chenille needles. And what's the big difference? Well, they both have a big eye, which is wonderful. but one has a blunt end and one has a sharper end. Typically when you're doing tapestry, you think cross stitch, and the chenille needle is a little bit sharper, so it would be good going through this felt, especially with the wool content. It will just glide through. I'm going to do the French knot, and Leah wants variegated thread for the gingerbread person's eyeballs.
Or black thread for the eyes, and not for the decorative stitching.
Okay, well I happen to have black thread, huh? Already threaded here. So which one do you want the eyes in?
My tree needs pink on the outside right now.
Okay. So I've already knotted my thread. It's always a single when you're using a pearl-like cotton thread. Right? Never cut it too long. It's always the rule of thumb. Some people can make it as long as this. Right? I usually go by the arm. And if you go longer, what will happen is that it'll knot down here and you'll be cursing and swearing.
That's not a fun way to hang out.
No, it's not. So we're going to put the eyeballs in here. Now I could have marked this first, which would probably have been a good thing to do. Let me go grab my marking pen. So a couple marking things. I have the chalk pencil, which is your handy dandy, your trusted item that you keep in your toolkit. But I have to tell you, these are the Friction pens that we just got an assortment in. I love Friction pens because you can mark it, and then if you want it to disappear, just a light touch with your iron on this. So I'm just going to put my eyes in here because if I just wing it, they'll be weird. There we go. Now because I'm doing a French knot, and the only way to get good at French knots is just to put some fabric and some stabilizer in a hand embroidery hoop and just put dots there, and you do the French knot, French. Do like 50 of them and you will be so good after that. Okay, so my knot's underneath. Take my thread out, wrap it around 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Now the key for me is I hold this and I go down, not in the exact same hole, but maybe a fiber over. Okay, so I'll do that again. So come up, here's my knot. I wrap it around 1, 2, 3 times, and I'm keeping some tension on this thread. You can see where my pearl cotton came up. I'm going to go through here. I'm just going above it. Some people suggest going through the same hole. You experiment to see what works for you. So now I'm going to pull it. Keep in mind, I still have my thumb on here, because if you let go of it, your knots can move. And I'm just going to pull that gently. Ooh, look at that. So I'm just going to go over to the next one. Because this is going to be sandwiched between the felt, I'm just going to scoot over to here. I can have that stitch carry over. There we go. So again, very good. Okay. So again, 1, 2, 3. Pulling the tension here. I'm just going to the upper part of the eye. Let me do that again for you. 1, 2, 3. Right above it. And I'm holding this thread here. There. So it should look like a nice little circle with the floss coming over and under. Okay. Should we give him a belly button?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to give him a belly button. So I'm going to use my Friction pen. Not that I really have to measure this. So this is 1.5 inches, 3/4. Let's see. Let's give him a belly button down here. There we go. So I can tie off my thread. I probably should, because that's kind of a long way to travel. And if we do get some opportunity to do some hand embroidery classes, I would love to show you some things that I learned. So I've gone under and I'm holding, I always hold this thread here taut with my left hand. There we go. Now I've made a knot. Do the quilter's knot, right? 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's just like a French knot. There we go. So I'm just going to move my pin out of the way. Is that too high for a belly button? Yeah. We'll make it a high belly button.
Depends how long he is with the head.
Yes.
Oh, he has no head.
He got some arms and legs.
No way.
Yeah, I should have done like a bite mark off here. That would have been cool.
I have cookie cutters like that.
Do you?
I do.
There you go.
But I don't make cookies very often because I eat them all.
So again, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to go to the side in this case. Just because, what the heck, right? And I'm pulling this tight. Carefully, I'm not letting go of this, because if you let go of that, you're going to ruin your French knot. Woohoo! Yeah, and I'm going to do my knot. Nice and tight. There we go. There we go.
Nice.
Nice, you like that?
I
Okay.
do.
So I have this beautiful variegated thread here. So let's go ahead and start. Now, one of the things when you start stitching, don't start in a curve or on a point. Always start down from it. So don't start in here because it'll look kludgy. It just looks really, doesn't look very nice, right? Always start down a bit. And what I want to do is I want to bury my knot in between the sandwich, right? So we're going to go right in about there. So now my knot will be stuck in here. There we go. So one of the tricks that I did, it's always hard to start the buttonhole stitch. Let me get this one going here. And do this one. So I've got my first one going. Now I can go back down. So one of the things when I first started learning hand stitching, hand embroidery, and hand applique is to figure out the stitches. Here's my cheat. Because you want them to be equally placed. I actually drew lines on my fingernail with a Sharpie so that I always knew when I was stitching here that if I had the one stitch here, I can't do it with my Friction pen, right? I had another mark here. Oh, there you go. Now that was going to right out. Okay. There we go. Okay, so let's get ready for my next one. Now I'm going to join back up there, right? Okay. Now, sometimes I'll actually stitch. So I'm doing a double stitch here. Sometimes I'll actually stitch left-handed. which means I'll go left instead of right. You just need to figure out what works best for you. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Okay, so are we ready to punch holes in the heads? I love this thing. This is my most favorite tool.
I know.
I ordered it for myself for Christmas.
Are you going to wrap it up and put it in your stocking?
Yes,
Sweet.
because it'll probably be the only thing in there, right? Now, there's two layers of felt in here.
And a layer of cutaway stabilizer.
So one of the tips, I was just talking with one of our gals out at the front of the store, and there's a little hole in the head. One of the things she recommended, or she found through experience, is using the cutaway or the tearaway stabilizer. Don't use an aqua mesh, because what you don't want to do is get it wet. She used the red, and the red ran, because red fabrics and red felt are usually over dyed, like with reds and purples and stuff. So after her beautiful work, it kind of ran a bit. So we're going to learn from her. Use tearaway or cutaway.
And I used heavyweight cutaway on these ones, so they'll hang nice and stiff. I'm way too lazy to embroider my handmade ornaments, or iron my handmade ornaments year after year.
What else do we have to show? Let's show these beautiful.
They're like a woven wool.
They're woven wool. They're just luscious. So the first one I want to show you is this stocking. Look at that. Isn't that cute? Now these are all made from patterns from Cottonwood Creations. There's the pattern. It's just sweet. And this one, we actually have, it feels like there's some sawdust in there at the bottom.
That or crushed walnut shells.
Yeah, that would be good. So if you put crushed walnut shells in there, it's going to stand up, right? At least it's not going to flop over, right? So this one is super cute. And the other one that I wanted to show, isn't he cute? I love snowmen, right? Big little heart. Now these would look like they're just filled with fiberfill, which is super easy to do. And this pattern, it's actually this guy. This little guy. Look at his little hat. Isn't that the cute?
His bills are almost as jingle as mine.
Isn't that cute? That's from Cottonwood Creations. You could actually have that stitched probably in a day. And
these would be doable for maybe not a 5-year-old.
No. Definitely a 6 to 12.
Yeah.
With the little jingle bells on the reindeer. And yes, he has a little red nose. Name is called Rudy. Isn't that the cutest?
So, and your files for today. This is in today's file?
Yes, it is.
And your template for gingerbread man that size?
Correct. Actually, you have 2 embroidery files, one with the mask, one without the mask, and the template for the big gingerbread guy.
So that'll be available. And you can make your own masked gingerbread man, because that's how we're all going to remember this year.
Along with the toilet paper ornament.
Yeah. So, anything else, Linda?
No, that's it.
Awesome. So I'm going to say be safe.
Be kind.
Be calm. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.